the potential for this market is absolutely insane. That's what keeps bringing people in. The thing that's so unfortunate is that most people come in at the wrong time. And if you're here listening to this conversation today, I want to tell you that you're more likely here at the right time than the wrong time. We are in this accumulation zone, and most people are going to come when the media tells them about it, when their, Uncle Joe tells them about it, or whoever else. They're going to buy at the exact wrong time and then sell at the exact wrong time. You need to buy low, sell high. I know it sounds simple, but it's super obvious, and it's really the only way that money gets made in this market. And if you're here at this time, you're at the right time to buy low and then sell high when the time comes, but you have to.
The best way to make money in cryptocurrency, if you're new, if you're just starting out, so you and me, we're OGs, we have different strategies, but if you're a new person coming into crypto today, Lark Davis, what do you think they should do?
If you're new to crypto, you've arrived at a very interesting time. I'd just like to say that. Right now, we are in the accumulation phase of the market. How long that lasts for, anybody's guess, likely up until the Bitcoin halving. There can always be a change in market cycle patterns. Could take longer, could take less time, but you are in an accumulation period right now. So that means you have the opportunity to go out and buy some of the more fundamentally strong coins, whether that be your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana, your Chainlink, whatever it might be, at relatively reasonable prices compared to where they were and where they could be going in the next cycle. A lot of people are going to come into the market and want to take way too much risk, and they've got to find the hot new sub-million market cap coin, and then they get chopped up, where they use too much leverage and they get chopped up in a sideways moving market. There's times to go crazy long with leverage in the market. That's when the market establishes a really strong direction. There's times to find those, low cap altcoins and go all in and all this stuff. But a lot of people are just getting chopped up in 2023. And it sucks to see, because it's at a time right now where it's relatively easy long-term to return some big gains in the market. So that's what I'm seeing. You can still get those more strong coins out there, but also because the market is a bit quieter right now, airdrops, baby. Airdrops, go farm those airdrops. There's never been more airdrop farming alpha out there. Most people are too lazy to go and click the buttons and do it. So don't be lazy. Go get the airdrops, guys.
And how do people find out about that? How do new people know how to farm an airdrop? Like, what is that?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I mean, there's lots of alpha floating around, whether it be, on YouTube or on X or wherever it might be. There's lots of people sharing information, but basically, let's take ZK Sync as an example. Here's a concrete example of how to potentially position yourself for the ZK Sync airdrop. It's a new Ethereum layer 2 network, much like Arbitrum or Optimism, which both did token airdrops that made people a lot of money. So what you need to do, you need to go find the ZK Sync website. You need to bridge your money across from the main Ethereum network onto the ZK Sync network. That alone can get you in the running for a potential airdrop. But realistically, what we've seen in previous airdrops is consistency, right? So you want to not just bridge your money over once and go, I hope I'm going to get the airdrop now. You need to keep showing up on chain. So every week you want to go and do a swap on SyncSwap, for example, which is one of the big decentralized exchanges on the ZK Sync network. And you do that once per week. You swap some ETH for USDT and you swap it back, so you get 2 transactions per week. And we've seen in previous examples that it depends on how long you've been using the network, how early you showed up, how many transactions you made, how much money you bridged over, and all this kind of stuff. How many different applications did you use? Did you claim NFTs for early user participation? All this kind of stuff. So not every airdrop is even close to being the same. Sometimes you can get into the test net. Sometimes you have to bridge real money over to the main net. Of course, there's risks when you're bridging real money onto main nets, right? New protocols can get hacked. There can be rug pulls. You have to be careful, right? So don't bet your life savings on trying to farm an airdrop on a new chain. But if you follow those simple steps, if you're consistent, if you put in the work and you show up on these new chains, honestly, because they do look for people who are, I'm going to start 1,000 addresses. You're not going to get the airdrop. They're going to find you. That's what they do. But if you're using 1, maybe 2 addresses, honestly, then you have a good chance of standing up for a decent airdrop in the future.
So you're saying 2 great strategies for new people coming into the space today are, 1, the airdrop thing, which you just described, I agree. And then the other thing, it's almost like buying Ethereum in 2018 when it was under $100. It already had a huge run up cycles before. That doesn't mean there wasn't, it was a quality project and had, way more of a huge run to go. So there's a lot of quote unquote blue chips, and nobody knows exactly which ones will make it in the future, but there are a lot of good ones right now, and they're at relatively cheap prices. And this could be a good chance to get into some of those.
Exactly.
And then is there, because I know that you like to farm the airdrops, is there any different strategy for like an OG like us in the space that you could give?
I think for when it comes to airdrops, it's really
Or any?
yeah, yeah. I'd say for airdrops, it's a very equal opportunity space, right? Where we do have basically anybody can show up to the airdrop and try to farm the airdrop. And sometimes it's based on if you put more money in, but you're taking more risks when you do that. You don't necessarily have to put more money in. But when it comes to people who've been around in the space, maybe are more familiar with how the space works, I would say right now we are a bit spoiled for choice when it comes to some pretty interesting looking low cap altcoins that have potential to have big returns in the coming cycle. And if you've been around, then you're going to understand how to better approach those low cap altcoins. And it's not necessarily something recommended for somebody who just got into crypto yesterday, right? There's a lot of risk there. You need to know how to identify decent tokenomics, decent, user growth, teams that are actually delivering on technology and stuff like this, potential use cases within the industry. There's a lot of moving parts, but if you can find those small cap altcoins, and there are some great ones out there that have strong backers and they fit all the descriptions, and they're only worth 10 million or 15 or $20 million market caps right now, that could go 20, 30, 40x, 50x in the next cycle, potentially, right? But if you are playing the low cap altcoin game, and whether you're new or you maybe need a reminder on this, is to use risk management strategies. And one of the probably the biggest things you can do here is position sizing when it comes to these low cap altcoins, because you have to expect massive price volatility. You have to assume that if you're putting, let's say you have a $100,000 portfolio, you put $5,000 into this low cap altcoin, you have to expect that $5,000 could go to zero. So that's why you keep it a smaller percentage of your total portfolio, only 5%, right? If you lose 5% of your portfolio, it's not going to be the end of the world. Not great, but not the end of the world. And you have to expect that it can go down 50% tomorrow and still do 20x in the future. So you have to be ready for that kind of crazy price volatility. And keeping that position sizing small is the best way to protect yourself against losses and to manage your risk when it comes to playing the low cap altcoin game. And you have to be ready to take profits when you get massive bumps. If you see it's done a 10x, got to get some money off the table because it could lose 90% tomorrow. We see how the low cap altcoin game works. It's a volatile, brutal player versus player marketplace. Even for the stronger coins that look good now, they may not look so good in 6 or 12 months.
I think you identified two key strategies for OGs, taking more risk the way you just described right now. The two things when you're like messing with these low cap, like, high return potential coins, is one, you're not just diving into a coin that has a pretty picture, although, those have done well in the past. But us OGs, we're listening to the whispers, we're getting into the Telegram groups, saying who's backing these coins. And, some funds or some investors have a history of, just have a history of launching coins. So you start to hear these whispers. So that's one thing. Really figure out where you're getting the best alpha. And then number two was the risk management, which is also so important. New people coming into space don't realize that if you're not, you need to take profits, you need to pay yourself, and, you need to just proper, good risk management. So I like that you identify that. Lark, before we get too far, I know you, I've been following you for a while, but who are you for the folks at home who might not know? Feel free to brag a little bit about yourself, because I know you've done really well in crypto.
So I got started in crypto, making content full time in 2017. And I've been basically going down the rabbit hole of crypto crazily since that time. And I love it. It's an obsession, but it's also become a business, right? Full-time employment, and taking the decision to jump into crypto as my full-time job. I did it actually in November 2018, which was an interesting time because the bull market peaked a month later and the bear market started 2 or 3 months later. And it was a brutal year in 2018. My conviction in this asset class as being one of the highest potential return areas for the coming decade, the more I learned about it, the more I was convinced. And I'm still very convinced on that reality. So that's why I started creating content. And I've been just loving making content, and it's what keeps me showing up every day to do live streams and make shorts and post my thoughts on X and all that stuff, because I really love doing it. And of course, I've managed over time to build a pretty good sized audience. only about half as big as Altcoin Daily, mind you. But I think it's a great community that we have here in the total cryptocurrency space with a lot of great creators making great content. It's an honor to work in this space and to have, a YouTube channel that's become so big, or an X account that's become so big, and to have that voice to be able to share my thoughts with the community and hopefully help educate people and help people along their journey in the process.
Yeah, you've put together a great channel and everything that goes along with that, guys. You can follow Lark, linked below. So do you still think that crypto is one of the best industries to change your life financially, become a millionaire, whatever that means?
100%. Right now, again, very interesting time to be in the markets, because right now, crypto's like $1 trillion market cap. We got up to 3 trillion last time. And even if we just went back to 3 trillion, didn't go beyond that, life-changing gains of $2 trillion, our market cap comes back in, and it will. Let's say this cycle we go further. Let's say we go 6, 7, $8 trillion market cap from here to the peak. The amount of money that's going to be made on some of these assets is insane. And that takes us up to the 2025 bull market peak, the 2026 bear market. Then we got to look forward to the 2029 bull market peak, where we're going to go over 10 trillion, maybe we go up to a $14 trillion total market cap for all cryptocurrencies combined. And of course, the ensuing bear market, and I guess 2030 after that. The potential for this market is absolutely insane. That's what keeps bringing people in. The thing that's so unfortunate is that most people come in at the wrong time. And if you're here listening to this conversation today, I want to tell you that you're more likely here at the right time than the wrong time. We are in this accumulation zone, and most people are going to come when the media tells them about it, when their, Uncle Joe tells them about it, or whoever else. They're going to buy at the exact wrong time and then sell at the exact wrong time. You need to buy low, sell high. I know it sounds simple, but it's super obvious. And it's really the only way that money gets made in this market. And if you're here at this time, you're at the right time to buy low and then to sell high when the time comes. But you have to remember to click the sell button, or you're going to do a round trip on your investments.
So let's say people are following you, following me. They're doing great in crypto. It's in the bull market. They're practicing good risk management, like you talked about. So they did, take some profits. They paid themselves. After you make the money, do you think it's smart to diversify? And what does that mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I diversify my profits out of crypto. Crypto is a great money generation machine at certain times. Obviously, sometimes it's not. But in general, it's a great money making machine, and it's very cyclical. And what I do is I do get money out of the market. So for me, I've plowed a bunch of my profits into stocks, some tech stocks. I own some EV stocks and some Coinbase stocks, stuff like that. But a lot of it's gone into dividend stocks, energy providers, mining companies, stuff like this. And that's just solidly sitting there making money for me all the time, which I love. So that's a nice area to diversify. I did buy some gold as diversification too. And, I'm not sure how much more gold I would buy in the future. Gold doesn't really do a lot, but it's kind of fun to have the little pieces of metal to look at from time to time. And of course, real estate is the classic one, which I don't actually have any physical real estate besides our family home. I do own a bunch of real estate investment trusts to get exposure to the real estate market. I keep going back and forth on whether I actually want to deal with the BS of being a landlord or not. I'm really not convinced yet. I might just stick with real estate investment trusts. But here's the thing. Altcoin money is high risk money. NFT money is like super crazy high risk money. Meme coin money is like crazy stupid risk money. You can make money in all those places. When you make the high risk money, understand that high risk gains can turn into high risk losses super, super fast. So if you are making those high risk gains on anything beyond the top few coins, then you need to take profits. Do it aggressively when it happens. Don't be afraid to take profits. You don't want to become a part of the quote unquote community and be a bag holder for 5 years or something and then capitulate at a 99% loss. It's not great. Been there, done that, not fun. Don't do it. You can move money, of course, into top cryptos as well. If you got great profits during the bull run, you can buy Bitcoin, but you're probably going to want to just stick in cash for a while and wait for the inevitable bear market to come. Because if you get a bunch of great profits, you buy Bitcoin, it drops 70% in the next bear market. Have you really protected your wealth at that point? Not really. So you got to remember how cyclical this market is and time your moves around those very strong volatile cycles.
Final question on this topic. Finish this sentence, Lark, and feel free to be as brief or say as much as you want. I became wealthy when?
I became wealthy when I fully committed to the cryptocurrency market. That was the game-changing factor for me. And in 2017, I made more money than I could have imagined making, which wasn't a lot comparatively, but for me, it was a lot at the time. And sticking with crypto, not giving up during the bear market of 2018, 2019, allowed me to become, to achieve that 7-figure net worth, eventually further into 2020, 2021, etc. So it was crypto. It's brought me incredible monetary opportunity.
Hey, join us at Bitcoin Amsterdam October 12th and 13th. This is an epic Bitcoin conference. Use code Altcoin Daily, 10% off tickets. Get this ticket or get this ticket. Ticket prices increase as we get closer to the event. So many awesome speakers are being added every single day. Use code Altcoin Daily for 10% off. Hope to see you there.